So what we're doing, we're out here this evening, and we're fishing. We're actually prime time for some channel cats, and I'm actually using the fancy floats, and I'm fishing around about 5 foot deep, and it's getting dark already, but we're gonna end up fishing at nighttime. So it's getting a little dark now, so we're gonna put this night light on. I actually have them on my site. It's a pack like this. It's like 5 of them in there, and then 2 tubes is in there. And the tube goes right on top of the float. All the lights come out. So we need a tube. There go a tube right there. There go the little clear tube. You take the tube and you put it over the float, just like that. Push it on there. Then you take your light, you pop it. Pop it all the way down. And then you shake it. It gets brighter. And then you put it right on top of the float, just like that. And there goes your light right there. So when that fish hit, when that light go out, that's him. You'll be able to see it. And that's when you set the hook. So we're gonna try it and see if we can get him to cooperate. So a rebait. I'm gonna throw it out. If we don't get a bite in a little bit, then I'll change my depth. But they should be there. Fishing like this. There you go. There you go. Hey again, this is Charles Jones with CJ's Bait, and I'm just doing a follow-up on how to set up my fancy floats. The other night we was fishing and I didn't get time to show you how to set that up, so the main thing is this fancy float is what we're talking about. So I'm gonna start from scratch here. This is my new fancy floats. It sets up, you can put a night light on top, which you'll see, and then you can also set it up. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start off with some string here. So the first thing you want to do is put the bobber stalker on. And many of y'all seen how I set it up, but I'm going to start here again. You run the line through the tube just like this. You hold the end of the tube, you pull the string off. Throw the tube away, and you take the string, pull it up the line like that, and you pull these two together till you get it cinched down. I always test it, see how tight it is. That's pretty tight, but if you want to tighten it up, you just pull on one of them just like that, and that'll tighten it up some more. Then you cut the extra off, or cut about that much off. Then you get enough string here. So after you put the knot on, the first thing goes on is actually it's the bead. Get a bead, put it on. Take the bead and slide it through the line. And it hits the knot. The next thing goes on is the float. So you want to take it through this hole right here, that swivel hole. You run it down just like that. Now, in order for this float to stand up, it's going to need weight. So that's what goes on next, is weight. And with this float here, I can use a 1/4. I can use a 1/4 with this, or I can use a 3/8. It depends on how further I want to throw it or how much I want sticking up. You put a 1/4 on here, it's going to stick up further. Put a 3/8 on there, it's not going to stick up as far out the water, but you'll be able to throw it further. So I'm going to put a 3/8 on here because I like being able to throw it further. And it's just enough to stick up. So it's a 3/8 egg weight that you use with this. So it slides on that line like this. I can get through the hole. There we go. And it goes on just like that. So to hold everything on here, you're going to need a swivel on the other end. And that's what we're going to put on the swivel next. Now this is the way I does mine. I just use a barrel swivel and I slide it on the line just like this. And I get me enough leader line, that's where I'm going to tie my hook on this end here. So I get me enough leader line and I do a double tie just like this. 1, 2. And I'll pull it tight. Tighten it down to that end like that. And I run this line just like this right through there. Now, that swivel on there that holds everything on. And then I put a hook on this end here. Your leader line don't have to be that long, but I like a long leader line because when I catch a fish and he swallow it, I don't try to dig down off there and get the hook. I just break the hook off and put another hook on. So next thing goes on is a hook. This is the number 6. I use the number 6s. And I just take that and I'm going to tie it on just like this. Twist it about 8 to 9, maybe 10 times. And I run it right through that loop and back through this loop. Wear it, then cinch it down. Just like that. Take the scissors, cut the extra string off. That's it. This is your setup. Just like that. So with this here, slip knot, you adjust it how deep you wanna set the depth. You can go 5 foot, 10 foot, 20 foot, depending on how deep the water is. You just slide that knot in. That cork hits the water, it stands straight up just like that. And this goes down into the water where the fish is. Now when I was fishing with this slip cork, I was able, like I say, to set it at any depth I want to set it at. And that's the good thing about it. You can fish any depth and it's nothing like it. And even when it was real windy, if you notice it was real windy, we didn't have no problem with it staying in the water. Because most of this is in the water like that, and this is sticking up where you can see. So when the waves are hitting it, it doesn't bother. It stays right there where you put it at. Now, what it'll do if you throw it out there in some in water that's probably 8 foot and you only fishing 5 foot, it's gonna drift in. But when it gets to 5 foot, it will stop. It won't move no more. So again, it's nothing like this fancy float. I mean, I'm highly on it. Now the other night when I was fishing, I was using my punch bait. I was using shad punch bait. And I know it was in November, so the water got kind of cold and the bait got kind of cold. So what I did was, I took some of my oil, some of CJ's oil, it's an enhancement oil, and I shook it up real good, and I just popped it And I put so many drops in there until I got that bait a little more moist. And I'm telling you, it was like night and day with that. So you can't hardly beat the oil this time of the year. In the summertime, you have plenty of oil in the bait, but when you get in these cool months, it's best to have some extra oil with you, because that help catch them fish. And I mean, even if you don't have CJ's bait, if you're using another kind of bait, just to get some of that CJ's oil, it'll make a big difference when you're fishing. We'll catch you later at cjsbait.com.